The Necrons finally have been purged as the Eldar reduces the remains into dust and condemned the damned souls into the warp. And the 4 warp shits had their work cut out of them as the malignant souls waged war with the warp and basically sealed them off, while the Necron pylons in Cadia sealed the Eye of Terror from spawning anything of a chaotic nature. But a different form of chaos will now ensue. Jaune and the rest of the surviving Astartes went back to Vale to rest and recover. Jaune, I'm sorry about your legion, Uncle Omron. Omron, don't worry, nephew. They died like champions killing Necrons in their dying breath. Jaune, I can't imagine losing a legion. All other Primarchs rejoined the group as they convened and report all that has happened. Lion, over half of the entire advanced force has been lost. These numbers came from various sources. Ultramarines, 250,000 after war, 212,000. Dark Angels, slightly under 200,000 after war, 120,000. Iron Warriors, 150,000 to 180,000 after war, 132,000. Sons of Horus, between 130,000 and 170,000 after war, 105,000. World Eaters, 150,000 after war, 69,000. Word Bearers, more than 100,000 to 150,000 after war, 89,000. Blood Angels, 120,000 after war, 100,000. Night Lords, 90,000 to 120,000 after war, 98,000. Iron Hands, 113,000 after war, 90,000. Emperor's Children, 110,000 after war, 100,000. Imperial Fists, 100,000 after war, 84,000. Space Wolves, 95,000 to 100,000 after war, 56,000. Death Guard, 95,000 after war, 78,000. White Scars, 95,000 after war, 52,000. Alpha Legion, conflicting accounts ranging from 90,000 to 180,000 after war, 98,000. Salamanders, 89,000 after war, 78,000. Raven Guard, 80,000 after war, 76,000. Thousand Sons, 85,000 after war, 40,000. Corvus, but a substantial threat to the Imperium has been dealt with. Taldir, we don't know to what extent do the Necrons encompass the sector, since these tomb worlds may possibly on other nearby worlds. Jagatai, then striking before they awaken is the best option. Taldir, indeed, my craft world and many others will accompany you Imperials in wiping out this scourge of the galaxy. Jaune, one thing at a time. Uncle Omron needs to recruit again, and the same can be said with the other legions. Magnus, my son suffered losses as well. Leman, I didn't see you on the front lines. Magnus, that's because my librarians had to fight off those damned pariahs. Their genes make them untouchable by any psychic power. Vulcan, come now, Brutus, we have to also celebrate the victory over the Necrons. And for those who could no longer. Jaune, Uncle Vulcan is right. Let's commemorate those that have fallen so that their sacrifice isn't in vain. Omron, hear, hear. Corvus nods. Vulcan, stomp, stomp. Magnus, agreed. Leman, hear, hear. Jagatai, hear, hear. Lion, hear, hear. Alfarius and Omegon were clapping like trolls. Then the Night Haunter arrives, but covered in blood. Omron, how a bloody Astartes did you crawled out from? Conrad, the bloody hub of criminals of this planet, of course. Jaune, Onkel Konrad. Conrad, they'll live. But they need a prosthetic to go back to normal. Fulgrim, oh, for Emperor's sake. Magnus, where were you? Fulgrim, my sons kept this kingdom secure along me, watching over little nephew's friends, keeping them out of trouble. Jaune, appreciated uncle. Then a Thunderhawk lands on one of the beacon landing pads. Lion, brace yourself, nephew. Your dad's here. John, no amount of blood trials would have prepared me for this. Magnus, don't worry, nephew, you were taken from home, not ran away from home, so you should be safe. Lehman, why does that not fill me with confidence? Magnus, because you're drunk, go back to sleep. Lehman, hey, I haven't had me pint of ale ever since the Necrons got out of their beds. The ramp was slowly going down until it was kicked off its hinges, and a giant rushed out of it. Robot, in a dark and echoey voice, where is my son? All Primarchs stepped to the side, leaving John alone in the crosshairs of his father. Then a glare came from his dad that would make even a Smuff Marine flinch. He rushed him and gave him a Vulcan-style hug. Vulcan, haha, nothing truly beats a hug. Robot, where were you? What happened? Why did you run away? John, struggle, is that what you think? I didn't run away. I was taken by some warp shits and was thrown here. Yvraine came from the webway as the rest of the Eldar craft worlds came to Remnant. Yvraine, Robot let him down, he's about to turn blue like your armor. Robot noticed his son's face was indeed turning blue as he drops him as he crumples to the ground, gasping for air. John, that was even more near death than that damn Necron Lord. Yvraine, you faced OFF with a Necron Lord. As warp lightning crackles around her, the recording of John being cut in the face by the Necron Lord came from Taldir. Yvraine, where is that little metal turd? I'll fry him to ash, that even his ashes would have ashes. John, that doesn't make sense. Robot, mothers sometimes don't. A glare from his wife silenced him more effectively than any Eldar spell. Then the Emperor arrived along with the rest of his sons. Sanguinius, Horus, Mordorion, Ferris, Lorgar, Rogel, and Perturabo. The Space Marines that were marching all were this. A present from his grandfather, the XXI Legion, the Arc Knights Legion. A massive parade was being thrown for the saviors of Remnant. As the Emperor was beside his wife and his son and daughter-in-law and his grandchild, John was face-palming at the pageantry. His classmates all were clapping for the heroes. Young, man, this celebration outshines the vital festival. Weiss, it is to celebrate our survival due to the efforts of these Space Marines. But I would acknowledge their commitment and especially their sacrifice for us. Blake, yeah, a lot of them died in the fighting, all for our sake. Ren, more like John Sake. He called this place his home, and we his friends. If it wasn't for him maybe asking for his family for help, we all wouldn't be standing here right now. Or worse, be like those Necrons. Nora, those chromed-up skeletons didn't have a snowball chance in heck against Fearless Leader and his legions. Emps, amazing work with the reigning Petal Sun. I'm proud of you, a man of culture. Magnus, aren't you gonna complain that there isn't enough gold? Emps, when I get the time I'm shipping a shit ton of gold from Terra. Fulgrim, haha, I knew you would enjoy it, father. Vulcan, oh, that reminds me. How is Terra? Emps, home is alright, son. Malkador is handling things from there. Vulcan, no, your granddaughter. Jaune Emps, OH. I have another grandbaby. John was signaling to silence Vulcan as Conrad tried, but Emps saw this and looked at John, who just shrank at his gaze. Vulcan, oh, and little Adrian too. Emps, Adrian? Magnus, sighs, no point in hiding it now. Adrian is Saffron's child, who was conceived by the donation of John's gene seed. Robot and Yvraine looks at John, who is sweating buckets. Isha, Yvraine, if you would kindly. Yvraine used her psychic abilities and searched for her daughter and found her, and she summoned the webway and entered. A few moments later, she came out with Saffron, Terra, and Adrian in tow. Emps looks at them and then to Adrian, which brought a tear to his eyes, which was surprising to all of the Primarchs. They never saw their father like this. He gently picks up Adrian in his hands, and the baby laughs, and gave the Emperor a raspberry, which he just laughs along with him. Jaune, this will take some time to explain. Roboutte, well, we can discuss that when we get to your new home. Jaune, what do you mean? Vale housed a new fortress monastery which was dubbed Triumph Over Death. Remnant was now secure and now a part of the Imperium.